Hey, what's happening out there? This is Halftime Prep Talk. I'm Aaron Snyder, the sports editor of The Independent, and I'm joined by sports writer Matt Sparks again this week. Good to have you back on the show, Matt.
Glad to be here.
You're watching us on dailyindependent.com, YouTube, or the Independent's Facebook page. Remember, Halftime Prep Talk is sponsored by Fannin Automotive. And we'll throw our Twitter plugs in there as well real quick. Follow me at DIndependentQB, and you can follow Matt at TheRP33. RP is capitalized.
Yes.
Trying to get his followers up.
Yes.
Matt, we're kind of in a mood this week, aren't we?
I'm in a bad mood this week.
You know, there's something on our minds here. You got Sunday night, you had Sports Center come on, and it was the last game of the great career that was Derek Jeter, which, you know, I will give Sports Center credit. They talked about him quite a bit throughout the week and highlighted his, his career and the way it came to an end. But it's like after the final game at Yankee Stadium, it's like they forgot about it.
Yeah, and Sunday was his last game ever in his career, and they buried him 15 minutes into the show. Instead, they want to talk about Tony Romo and the Cowboys again, probably for the 100th time that week. Maybe it's big news that Tony Romo didn't throw an interception that week or something, but
or pick six.
Pick six, exactly right.
That's big news. No pick six for Tony Romo. But you know what would have been nice on Sunday at Fenway Park if they had over the PA one last time Bob Shepard's voice.
Yes.
Number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2.
That's very good. That's a very good impression.
That's number 2.
It always amazed me why they wanted to say his name twice in case you forgot what Derek Jeter's number is.
Well, you know, there used to be a PA announcer at the Redskins used to say the last name twice, like Larkin. Like there's an echo in the stadium. A few more baseball quick hits. We got to give baseball some love before we get to football. We had Jordan Zimmerman for the Nationals had a great no-hitter on Sunday to close out the season.
Yeah, what a way to close out the season. His first career no-hitter, and since we're in D.C., the Marlins were trying everything they do to veto the no-no. But the last at-bat, only had one walk the entire game, and the Marlins sent a shot into the gap in center field to left center, and Steven Souza came out of nowhere, made an insane diving catch to preserve the shutout and the no-hitter.
And he just come off the bench?
Yes, he just came off the bench, just entered the game at the top of the 9th, and was able to make that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. The Royals in the playoffs for the first time since 1985.
I don't think you were born yet.
No, that was a year before I was born. And then a great matchup coming up on Friday night. I know everybody's going to be going to their local high school football games, or we hope you are anyway. But set your DVRs because a great pitching matchup on tap.
Or if you have still a VCR like I do, I have to have some tapes at the house.
Clayton Kershaw and Adam Wainwright going at it.
A couple of 20 game winners.
Right.
Should be quite entertaining. All the celebrities will be out at Dodger Stadium, so I'll be excited to watch that game when I get home.
So much going on in the month of October. I think it's my favorite month, for many reasons. You got great, I love the weather. It's been a little unseasonably warm, but I love the weather. The leaves changing, the horror movies on TV, the Halloween's in the air a little bit. So I like that aspect of it. And then you got MLB playoffs, Big Blue Madness coming up, NFL's in the meat of their schedule. Locally, we got some high school sports entering their postseason play. High school football is right in the middle of district play. And with that, we'll recap the top games from week 6. Rowan County and Ashland. Rowan County didn't order BLP, but that's what Ashland dished out all night. Baker, Long, and Prince, that is. Quentin Baker, Jake Long, and Hunter Prince each go for over 100 yards on the ground. Talk about cold cut trios. Let's go to a red hot trio. Nick Conley, Bronson Corsup, and Jacob McKee for Russell. Russell beat Wes Carter 34-6. All three of those guys had outstanding games. Again, now on to Raceland and Lawrence County. And it's time for me to hand out my own punishment.
It's a little touchy subject here, isn't it?
I know. 2 consecutive weeks I picked against Raceland and was wrong, and I was reminded repeatedly about that. So, for that, for the rest of this quick segment, I'm whipping out the old Rams hard hat, which I found lying around in the sports department. I'll stick it on here. Raceland, 6 different players the other night found the end zone against Lawrence County, spoiled their homecoming festivities, and just what a performance by Raceland. I know I should have picked them. Who picks Cold Grove and Lawrence County against Raceland? Who does it?
You do.
Who do they play this week?
I think they're open this week.
Well, I guess I'll pick the Rams this week.
For the rest.
Maybe I'll stick with them the rest of the season. I think I might have learned my lesson.
Yeah, I'll never doubt the Rams again. I had to.
Try this on?
No, I had to. It looks really good on you though.
Thanks.
I picked Lawrence County last week, and I'll probably never doubt the Rams again. Impressive win last week.
Well, I reached down to our prop bucket down here and brought out the game ball. Matt, we're going to start a kind of a new segment here called Game Balls. We're each going to give a game ball to a player or a unit on a team that we feel is deserving of the honor. So, Matt, game ball from Friday.
Well, Aaron, I think this is probably a no-brainer. I'm going to give my game ball to the Raceland defense for 7 turnovers against quite the explosive offense of Lawrence County. I know I was told lineman Isaac Wallace for the Rams was in the backfield, Lawrence County backfield so much he might as well be playing running back. Let's see, Seth Holbrook had 9 tackles. Belly Walker had 8 tackles. Nathaniel Davison scooped up a fumble and took that to the house for a touchdown. So, the defense held Grant Kaiser, a pretty strong quarterback. 1 of 7 for 2 yards and 3 INTs.
Yeah.
So I guess that Raceland football preview cover with the no passing zone is the sign of things to come.
Yes.
So I'll give my game ball to the Rams D.
And speaking of that, Josh Young, the quarterback and also a defensive back for the Rams, had his 2nd and 3rd interceptions of the season, and also his 2nd and 3rd of his career. There was some running banter in the locker room and on the practice field during the preseason and off-season for Raceland that Young, had an inability to capture interceptions, but he's made up for that with his 2nd and 3rd on Friday night against Lawrence County.
And everybody says when Coach Fannin makes jokes, he's like, if they throw the ball this week, Matt, if you pick it, Josh, just knock it down. So, I mean, I guess he can't really say that anymore.
My game ball is going to go to the Ashland offensive line for opening up holes for Quentin Banker, Hunter Prince, and Jake Long. They've kind of had a struggle this season, Ashland has, but it looks like they're working out the kinks, and halfway through the season starting to block a little better and just be a little more assertive up there. And they opened up some holes with regularity against Rowan County. And those 3 guys were the first trio for Ashland to rush for 100 yards, each of them in a single game since 1990 state championship team, Chris Hutt, Charlie Johnson, and Juan Thomas. That Ashland offensive line, to name them real quick, I think a couple of these are tight ends as well, so all of them did a good job blocking. Taylor Broughton, Grant Kruger, Clay Goebel, Drew O'Brien, Tucker Schweikert, Kyle Cole, and Christian Turner. You guys get the game ball from me this week. Let's go to the top 3 games of this week. Number 3, East Carter at West Carter, the battle for the barrel. Matt, what do you think?
This is also always a big rivalry, especially in Carter County. Probably doesn't get as much recognition as the Ashland Russells and Ashland Boyd Counties at Raceland Fairview. It's always a close game, very entertaining. Yeah, it's so close this series. The last 10 years, each team has won 5 games.
Wow.
And listen to these scores. Last year, 27-22, 14-8, 12-10, 2019. East Carter won last year's game 23-21.
And we're bringing in Kevin Brown here a little bit, West Carter's football coach, to talk about the rivalry some, and a player, Austin Travis from the Comets, is coming in.
I say this. I would predict this is probably not a close game, but I think the Comets, Braden Brown will make enough plays to put West over the top.
Yeah, East Carter has struggled. They're coming off a 50-0 loss to Mason County, and that's that was probably a little inflated just because of just sheer experience for Mason County, versus East Carter's lack thereof. So, you got the Raiders who struggle to move the ball offensively. I think they only gained about 30 yards total against Mason County the other night. So a lot of things going on for them. But I do like the way Logan Morrison's coming on as a quarterback. He's doing a pretty good job there. Braden Brown, though, and company, including Peyton Brown, Austin Travis, Tristan Mitchell, and those guys, they're going to be a little too much. I think in Olive Hill, the Comets win. Number 2. Derek Cheetah. No. Boyd County at Ashland. Last time both of these teams had losing records when they met was 2007. Boyd County feels like they have a shot this year. Talking to some, some of those involved with the Lions program, they feel like they have a shot, and maybe they should be confident.
I would be confident too. I mean, this is another rivalry, so when rivalry games come on play, you might as well just throw the records out the window. Ashland is 2-3. Had kind of a difficult time this season, but when you think about it, Ashland is maybe two plays away from being 4-1. Had some couple tough plays in a couple of games this season, but Boyd County struggled too. But they've had a tough schedule. Lawrence County, Mason County, Raceland, John Central, and now Ashland. I think the Steelers are in there too somewhere.
Okay.
Pretty tough. But I think the Tomcats backfield is, I like to call it run, BLP, will give Lions all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I just talked about the offensive line, I think they're much improved, and Boyd County is one of those teams that you see flashes every now and then, especially offensively. Against Russell a couple weeks ago, they showed some flashes. Against Johnson Central, they had a 13-8 lead. I know it was just a few minutes into the game, but heck, there's something to be said for that. And or 14-8 lead, maybe it was. But Boyd County is still probably just a little, maybe a couple years away from really being able to compete in this rivalry matchup. I know it's been over 10 years. I think 2003 was the last time Boyd County won in this series. So I'm going to go with the Tomcats. Probably by about a couple of touchdowns. Now, Boyd County hung with them last year, so it could be interesting. Number 1, Russell at Fleming County. That's Class 3A, District 6. Neither team has lost in the district yet. Of course, play just opened, but both teams playing really well.
Yeah, Russell's beat Fleming 10 straight in this series, but I think this year is a different Fleming team. I saw them a couple weeks ago. Their defense is very solid, only giving up 9 points a game this season. But Russell's a different animal there. Russell's offense is really clicking right now. Nick Connolly, probably one of the top rushers in the area, and Jacob McKee's quarterback's got that offense really clicking. So I think it'll be a close game. I think I see Russell maybe pulling it out at the end.
Yeah. Fleming County has been pushing people around a little bit more than we thought, than we anticipated. They had a convincing win over Rowan, which is kind of a rivalry game there. That kind of opened my eyes personally. And then they played closely, like we mentioned last week, they played closely with Valley, Ohio. And then, they're coming off a really nice win. Really, they hammered Lewis County.
Yes, it is.
I know Lewis County is dealing with some injury problems in key spots, but that's still a telling win, I think, for the Panthers. And the Panthers, I think, will hang with the Devils there at home, give them all they want. But Russell has power up front, and they have power in the backfield. And
It's a winning combination.
It's a winning combination. They have a lot of strength, and I think they're going to overpower the Panthers. So we'll go Russell there. I think we're all in agreement. Once again,
For the second straight week.
we need to start
I don't know. I might
making up stuff so we just can debate a little bit or something.
I might have to wear a hat next week or something.
Okay. We'll hold on to that
Yeah.
for next week. We'll keep that under our hat. Okay, we'll go to Kevin Brown next. He's coming in as our first guest on HTPT this week. West Carter's football coach. We'll be back with him. Halftime Prep Talk is sponsored by Fannin Automotive. Kevin Brown, West Carter head football coach for 19 seasons now, and on the HTPT set.
I knew it was that long, but to hear somebody say it, then it sure makes it seem like a long time. And time's flown, with that. Seen a lot of things come and go along the way, but 19 years, very proud of that, though.
Good. What's kept you at West Carter for that long?
Well,
I know you played there.
Yeah.
You're an Olive Hill guy through and through, but what's kept you as a head coach that long there?
Well, like many people, graduated in a small school. When I got out of college, had an opportunity to come back, start with JFL and middle school, and I always thought there in Olive Field that the boys need an opportunity to play football, because as years have went by, we know that everybody likes basketball and talk about basketball, but I also think it's important for everybody to have an opportunity to do other things. And my main goal since day one was to try to provide the boys of Olive Field with an opportunity to play football, to give them another chance or maybe something else that they would be interested in, because not everybody can play basketball, not everybody can play baseball, but I feel like if we give them an opportunity to play football, then it'll not only help them athletically, but it's going to help them as people, and that was my main goal. And still is.
Yeah, and you know that from your experience playing as well, what you learned, what you picked up as
Yes.
a player, and how it's molded you into a coach now.
Yes, and when the first varsity football game I ever watched in Olive Field, I played in.
Okay.
Just to be quite honest
Yeah.
with you, and when you tell people that, they look at you like, really? Well, and where I grew up, the elementary school did not have football.
Right.
They started it the year that I left and went to high school, and the first week of high school, the football coach asked me to play football.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, had never even watched a high school game, and 2 weeks later I was starting in one. So that tells you the shape our program was in too. And but it's been a nice journey, nice ride.
Absolutely, and there's been times in the history of the program that the West Carter program maybe could have folded, but
Yes.
but it has survived those times. I know there's been some key characters in that,
Yes.
in sustaining the life of the football program.
Well, thinking back over the years, my first year playing football, we only had about 16 boys on the team. So that was the reason that I was
Sure.
starting in the first
Sure.
football game ever.
Didn't have much of a choice.
No, and really and truly, throughout the years, they've been a number of people instrumental in that. Coach Ralph Asher, who passed away a few years ago, very instrumental in it. J.B. Henderson, who used to run a funeral home downtown, passed away a few years ago. They were very instrumental in it. Coach Mike Flannery, who's still with me, and a number of those guys, Wendell Jones, they all stayed there so that the program would remain and give kids an opportunity to do so. And with me, and Coach Brian Brown and Coach Charlie P. Summer and Coach Mike Flannery now, and Coach Jamie Wagner, and then Coach Daniel Barker, we have all graduated from there.
Sure.
We've all played football there. So, we have a vested interest in what goes on there. And, with Coach Flannery, he's had 2 boys graduate there and go on to successful college football careers and become successful people. And, so it's very important to us to give the young men there an opportunity, because, like I said, I do believe football does make you a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't believe that, then I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I really wouldn't.
With the Ivan McGlone era over at Russell now, I believe you're the longest tenured coach in our circulation area at a single school.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, what does that
Well,
mean to you?
I'll tell you, really, the Lord has blessed me, and I do feel honored by that. And you got to think football, especially in our area, has grown leaps and bounds the last 20 years. And Coach Ivan McGlone, I'm not nearly as tough as he is. I won't be able to take it that long. But, I really have 19 years as head coach, 5 as assistant, or 6. I've enjoyed every day, every 2.5 hours, 3 hours after school. I've enjoyed every. I am glad now that we can trade tapes on the internet,
Yeah,
because
right.
before I was the one that got to do that as an assistant, and then if you're a head coach, you don't want to turn that over to somebody else. Right. So I really like Huddle, and it saves me a lot of hours. But it's an honor to be able to be a head coach for 19 years, and it's an honor to be able to coach at West Carter for 19 years. And as far as being the longest tenured coaching our area, you know, that's a humbling experience because, you know, tomorrow it could end. You know, you never know about that. But I've been blessed to be able to do it and thankful to be able to do it.
You guys had a nice start to this season.
Yes.
3-0, almost the first 4-0 start at West Carter since 1985. I know it was an overtime loss against Greenup County. Was that one just a really tough one to get over?
Oh yeah, you know, I think it carried over into last week as well, you know, and hopefully, not to say, you know, Russell would have won the game, but we would have played a whole lot better, I believe, and you know, it was a game there with Greenup that we just, you know, kept making those mistakes over and over again, and before you know it, it's tied up. Going into overtime, and we had lost the momentum, didn't score in overtime, and they did, and you know, that ended that. But along the way, you know, there was 4 or 5 chances in that game that we had a chance to put it away. We had a touchdown called back, an extra point took off the board, 2-point conversion took off the board. Mm-hmm. So you know, when you do that, then you leave yourself in a real tough spot. And when you make mistakes that, you know, I made mistakes during the game, players made mistakes, we have to be able to rebound from that better than we did last week.
Yeah, right in the meat of district play now, and you guys are now 3-2.
Yes.
Like you said, coming off that loss to Russell. But you know, something that really I think might stand out about your group this year is you got pretty good leadership.
Yes.
A pretty good senior group.
Yes.
Including a guy like Austin Travis,
Yes.
who's going to join us here on the set here in a little bit. But can you talk about that leadership that
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
have and how important that's been?
Well, you know, all 7 of our seniors have played a minimum of 3 years for us. I think 6 of them have played all 4, and you know, with that, they've been at the top of the mountain there, and been at the bottom of the mountain as well. So you know, there's not anything that they're going to face during the season that they haven't already been through.
Right.
And the thing that I like most about our group of seniors is that they've not only been willing to step up to lead, you know, like Austin and Tristan Mitchell and Tanner Eldridge and those guys, they've been a little bit more vocal about it, you know, and they've tried to encourage the younger players because we're still a sophomore, junior dominated football team. You know, we have right at 14 sophomores, 9 juniors, so you know, 22 of our 37 are still sophomores and juniors, and you have to have that senior leadership, and they've really, I've been very impressed with all of them to this point about the encouragement and just knowing the process that you need to go through in order, and it started back in track season and in the weight room with spring ball, then this summer, you know, they were leading us, and I'm very proud of them for that.
Braden Brown is one of the sophomores.
Yeah, junior.
Or junior now,
Yes.
yes. Lose track of time, it just goes by so fast. But yeah, Braden Brown's a junior now at quarterback. He's your nephew.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Browns on the
Oh,
team.
yeah.
It's a family affair.
Well, yeah, we have, you know, Braden, that's a junior, starts quarterback for us. Ethan, my son, sophomore, he starts at one of the wing backs and at defensive back for us. And then Peyton Brown, he's freshman. He plays a little bit everywhere, mainly safety and running back. But, you know, with Braden there, you're getting a dual threat at quarterback. He's rushed for over 400 yards so far, threw for over 400 yards. And the key to his season has been, and I think part of ours, you know, first of all, our defense has improved. And secondly, we haven't turned the ball over a lot. We haven't threw a lot of interceptions, haven't fumbled a lot or anything. But having him back there as a dual threat, you know, teams are going to spy on him. And I would, you know, the best way to do that is to lock somebody on him. But with people like Tristan and Austin back there and those other guys, you know, we feel like that we have 7 or 8 guys. When they touch the ball, then they're going to be able to do things with. But Braden's definitely a big threat, and you know, it's a good thing to have a quarterback that can run.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that.
And running for 100 yards against Russell is
Yeah.
no easy task, and he did that.
Yeah.
You know, his father's Brian, which is your
Yeah.
brother.
Uh-huh.
He's the athletic director at West
Yeah.
Carter, and he was a good player back in the mid-'80s.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
does Braden remind you of him?
Oh yeah, as far, you know, when he gets out on the edge and stuff. Now, you know, B. Brown, and we talk about it in practice sometimes and everything. Once he got to the edge, he was gone.
Yeah.
And Braden most time he's gone if he can get out there, and just having that threat of any time that he's got the ball in his hands, he can score. It is a pretty big deal.
I would say that Braden and Peyton might engage in some brotherly battle.
Oh yeah, they've raced a little bit this summer, and in the weight room, Peyton's really never lifted weights or anything, but he is naturally about as strong as anybody we've had come in there. I mean,
he had a couple home runs in the baseball
oh yeah,
season.
well he had never lifted a weight and sat down the bench 225 pounds, and honestly, pretty easy. When he was in there,
Wow.
We just told him, well, we're going to need to start somewhere else other than that. But yes, they compete pretty well, and it's all, and they're typical brothers. They protect one another. Above all else.
Mm-hmm. East-West game coming
Yep.
up, obviously this week. The rivalry. What kind of sets that rivalry apart, maybe from others in the area, or how do you describe it?
Well, I think the thing that sets it apart. We're right in the same county. And our two schools go back to the Hitchens and Olive days.
Right.
Everybody
A lot of
remembers
history.
a lot of history, and then with bringing football into the equation, for the first 18 or 20 years, maybe even longer than that, West Carter never won one of those games, and then in 1985. Not only did we win one, they won two. And Coach Moore and I have talked about that. We might just start scheduling two, but it's a big deal as far as I think rivalries are good if they're kept in perspective. I love watching a good high school football rivalry, a college rivalry. I think NFL and stuff like that, not really that much of rivalry. It's more between the people than it is the players.
Right.
But it means a lot to both communities. And, the last couple of years, East has been able to get us by a few points. And, I know at least one of those games we were favored in. Mm-hmm. And so, that makes it rough on our guys for a year. You have to hear that for a year. Nothing too negative or anything like that. But if it's a rival game and you lose,
And you're still going to hear about it.
somebody let you know about it
Exactly.
for one solid year.
Is there any East-West game that's more memorable to you than any others?
Well, probably. I believe the first time as a coach, as a high school coach, when we beat them, I had a boy pick up it was an attempt at an onside kick, and I was telling him to get away from it. And because it wasn't going to go 10 yards, well, he picked it up and scored, and for whatever reason, that's just always stood out in my mind.
Wow.
But, the other things that stand out is that they're always very tough football games. Kids from both sides want to win because they know the reward that you get from it. And at least in Olive, there's a not too many questions usually asked about football, but the number one thing they want to know is what day do we play East and everything. So, it's pretty important.
I'm going to test you a little bit. Do you know what your coaching record against East
I
is?
honestly do not know.
Okay, well, you have 7 wins. It's
Yeah.
7-11 in the
Yeah.
series. And but my question is, what's your record going to be after Friday?
Well, I hope it's 8-11.
Guarantees, though,
no
right?
guarantees, but hopefully we can go in there. I do feel like we're a much improved football team. We have experience at a lot of positions. We're deep at most of our skill positions. We just can't go into the game and start off slow, have those crucial mistakes, penalties or turnovers. And, hopefully if we do that, then we'll be able to step up and not only give ourselves a chance to win, but be competitive and improve upon what we've started so far this year.
I know between teaching and coaching, especially in the fall, you don't have a bunch of free time.
Yeah.
But as far as Kevin Brown goes, what is he doing in his free time?
Well, free time's of a minimum, but I do enjoy spending time with my family. I enjoy going to church, and other than that, just being around my family and friends. And I used to have hobbies like golf and all that, but I do fish a little bit. I'm not a very good fisherman. I'm more of the pond guy that just sits there for 3 or 4 hours.
Just
and my
hang out a
wife,
little bit.
yeah, and I have a pontoon boat my wife, she enjoys that a whole lot more than I do. She gets to go out, so we do a little bit of that. But primarily just be with my family and try to enjoy that because kids growing up real fast, and I want to be there for them.
Luckily, you can spend time with your son on
That's
the football
right.
field
Yeah,
while you're working.
Oh yeah, and that's a real treat. If anybody knows Ethan, he's a free spirit, and but it is a joy to be out there with him, and I'm gonna stay. Like I told him, I've coached everybody else's child for 20 years, and I'm gonna stay till he graduates, no matter what.
All right, Coach. Well, we really appreciate you coming
Hey,
down.
no
to
problem.
The HTPT. Good to have you on.
All right, thank you.
Halftime Prep Talk is sponsored by Fannin Automotive. All right, we'll bring in Austin Travis to the HTPT set. Austin, good to have you on the show.
Glad to be here.
You're a senior fullback and linebacker for West Carter and 4-year starter. Which side of the ball do you like better?
I gotta say I'm probably a defensive man myself. I like to think of myself as like a defensive leader out there, and it's just really enjoyable for me to see lead my defense and getting the 3 and outs. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. And your defense has been pretty good most of the season this year. At times, I know against Russell, it struggled a little bit at times, but for the most part, it's been a pretty strong point for you guys. And now, as far as a linebacker goes, you play middle or outside?
Outside.
Outside linebacker. Team is nearly 4-1 though. Why should people be taking notice of West Carter football this year?
I think when most people think of West Carter, here in the last few years, we haven't had much, success, and everybody's looking. You're like, okay, 0-10, 2-8. We started out this season 3-0, and I think that brings a lot of surprise to people. And I think we're a really improved football team. I think compared to the last few years, we're not even close to it.
When you mentioned the leadership aspect, when did you kind of label yourself a leader of this team?
I'd probably say as soon as I started going into my senior year. Like making that transition, all the seniors are leaving, juniors had to step up. I think that's probably where I started.
What felt different about this year? I mean, just knowing it's your last one.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's your last one. Right here is like where you gotta lay everything on the line, and for a lot of people, a lot of seniors, this is the last time they're gonna play, team football.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't gonna go on to a college level, and last year.
Yeah. Now, what were your expectations heading into the season for the team? And how does that kind of match up with the results so far?
So far, it's been going great. Honestly, we're shooting for the playoffs. That's always the goal. That's where we're shooting for, and the way we're going so far, I think we can get there.
And that's always tough for you guys, just because you're in a 16 district. That means half of your season is made up of district games, and you're right in the meat of that right now. Finishing 4th in that district, especially this year with a much improved Fleming County team, and Lewis, they're not going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know with East. You guys play them this Friday. But it's always tough to get out of that 16 district, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, with 16, like you said, how many? You got to win 3. You have to win a majority of the games.
Yeah, you got to win at least.
out of it.
You got to win at least 2 probably, and maybe even 3 to be safe.
Yeah, if you really want to secure that playoff spot. And, like you said with East, with rival games, no matter what the record is, you always got to look out for rival games.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's coming up this Friday. What makes it so special?
I couldn't tell you how many times we play a team and someone says Carter County. Not West Carter, not East Carter, Carter County. So I think with that, we want to prove to the other, we want to prove to East Carter, East wants to prove to us, which side of the county is better. So when people say Carter County, we know which one they're talking about.
Exactly. Now, do you have any personal ties to East, or
I got some family over there.
Do you?
Yep.
And what's that like?
I have, my mom grew up over there.
Okay.
So that's, always that.
That's interesting.
I got a cousin, he's a senior over there,
Mm-hmm.
and like my mom's entire side of the family is over there. So that's always,
Wow.
yeah.
Does your mom say anything about that? Or?
She doesn't say too much. Now my uncles, on the other hand, I hear about that every now and then.
Now, your cousin, does he play football?
No, he doesn't play.
Okay. That would be even more
Yeah.
crazy. So what's the atmosphere like, in that game, the Battle for the Barrel?
I gotta say, it's pretty tense, I think. It's fun, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone's really enjoying it, but, that's probably one of the most look forward, like, games we look forward to throughout the year is playing East.
Really close game last
Yeah.
year. East
Yeah.
Carter came out on top.
Mhm.
Is that game kind of weighing on your guys' minds a little bit?
I think I think everybody's thinking back towards that game. It's
Is it kind of just, is it one of those things that's in your mind, but you're not trying to focus too much on it?
well, I think it's like, it's in our minds, but I don't think everybody's looking at it as in weighing like affecting this year's
Right.
game. I think it's more of like a we went down last year with a fight. Let's
Right.
kick it up a notch this year.
Right. And, sometimes it might be easy to maybe overlook a team that hasn't won yet, and that's East Carter. I believe they're 0-5 at this point. But is there any danger of that with you guys as
No,
far?
I
Just
don't
too
think,
much else going on.
Yeah, that's right.
What's usually your pregame routine? Do you have a routine? You listen to music or something like that?
I'm big on music. I love to listen to music.
What do you listen to?
Well, I mean, it's either rock or some kind of rap or hip hop. So if it's faster and upbeat,
Get you pumped up.
yeah, that's right.
Now, after high school and after high school football, what are your plans?
Yeah, I'm planning on going to college. Right now, I'm looking at Eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to major in computer science.
Oh, nice. Yeah, smarty pants here. As far as I'm going to bring in a new portion here to the player interview called the triple option, and I'm going to ask you three different categories, three different favorites. One being your favorite meal.
Favorite meal? Probably say steak.
All right.
I'm a big steak guy.
All right.
Yeah.
How about favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? I'm a big Remember the Titans fan.
Remember the Titans. That's a classic.
Mhm.
And what about favorite NFL player? You have one?
Oh, Wes Welker.
Wes Welker. That was
For
easy.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
So are you a Broncos fan?
Actually, I'm a Patriots fan.
Okay.
And then he moved on me. So, that hit hard.
Tough loss for the Patriots on Monday.
Yeah, I know.
Can they recover against my Bengals?
I guess we'll see.
All right, Austin. It was great to have you on, and
Thank
good
you.
luck the rest of the season. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Halftime Prep Talk is sponsored by Fannin Automotive.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
We're back on HTPT. We're going to close this thing out, Matt. Some other sports to mention, cross country. I know you've covered a little bit of that, and there's been some domination on the girls' side.
Yeah, Darian Steele and Courtney Gibson are usually
Wood County duo.
Wood County duo. Usually 1-2 in every meet that I've seen. Very impressive. Ashton Invitational last Saturday at Wildwood Park. That place is quite impressive. You can't really realize how big it is from the street till you get down there. Quite a jaunt down to the track.
And I'm sorry I didn't warn you about that
No,
at
there's
all.
quite the hill. It's from the parking lot down to the track. There's a huge hill on the track called Heartbreak Hill at that track.
Right.
I would argue that the road up to the parking lot is Heartbreak Hill. I was a little winded when I walked back up there.
Yeah, no kidding. And on the boys' side, Tyler Andre from Russell and Elijah Miller from Boyd making some noise. So that could be interesting down the stretch. And you got some other sports going into their postseasons like soccer, volleyball. It was still a couple weeks out, but really venturing close and getting to the home stretch there. And golf, they just wrapped up region play earlier this week. Going into the state tournament, we have a few local qualifiers on each the girls and boys side that we need to keep an eye on at the state tournament and root them on. Kentucky, South Carolina this weekend. Kentucky's coming off a nice win. They stopped the 17-game skid in the SEC against Vanderbilt. And coming up next here is South Carolina, the old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, who I'm not going to say despise because that's a strong word, but I'm not a big fan of his.
Well, he might be the most pessimistic coach in college football.
I wouldn't like to play for him, I don't think.
When you interview him, you can't tell if he's up 30 or he's down 30.
But he's won a lot of games throughout
Yes.
the years.
Yes.
And I think he'll probably win another one against Kentucky, but with Patrick Tolles, the way he's coming on, I think the offense is showing promise.
I promise. Not quite there yet. They're still learning.
Defense is what showed the
Yes.
most. But, you got to score points, and especially against South Carolina. All right, let's go to our two for the road. Matt Sparks.
Well, We mentioned this very briefly last week, but we want to send our well wishes to Greenup County coach Chris Mullins and his wife. Coach Mullins is going to try to pull off the ultimate daily double, what I like to call it. Friday morning, his wife will give birth to their new son, and if everything goes well, he'll be on the sidelines Friday night when the Musketeers are looking for their first district win under his tenure. So should be a big day down in Graham County.
Yeah, the daily double. I like that. That'd be huge for the Mullins family and for the Musketeers for that matter. My one for the road is I got to go back to baseball real quick and bring out number 2, Derek Jeter. No, I've overkill. Overkill.
Yeah.
Too much. No more Derek Jeter. I want to talk about the Reds a little bit. Disappointing season. I've got a trade idea. If I'm in the front office, this is what I'm going for. Okay? I think we keep most of the pieces intact and trade a pitcher. That pitcher being Matt Latos. I think you package Matt Latos and a prospect for Yoenis Cespedes of the Red Sox. Gives you a power bat in left field. I mean, in the cleanup spot probably.
Yes,
but in left field, he gives you a great glove and a strong arm. He has all the tools. He might only hit about 260, but if he's driving in 100 runs, listen to this lineup right here, Reds fans. Billy Hamilton, Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Yoenis Cespedes, Devin Mesoraco, Jay Bruce, Kyle Frazier, Zach Cozart, and the pitcher. And that way you keep Cueto if you send Latos out and package him with a prospect and get a nice left fielder like Cespedes. And I think that lineup would do tremendous, and I think the pitching staff would still be good with Simon and hopefully Cingrani back from his injury.
That would be quite the outfield. Hamilton, Bruce, and Cespedes, especially Great American Ballpark, is probably the top home run ballpark
And he hits
in baseball.
He hits it a mile to left field.
Yeah.
He's pretty much a dead pull hitter. I mean, he'll be hitting home runs off that scoreboard out there. I'm telling you. But I'm not Walt Jocketty, nor do I want to be in his situation. You know, he's done a great job as the Reds general manager, I think, and we'll see. It'll be interesting in the hot stove league and see what happens over the winter.
He's going to have to do a little something, I think, in the
Do a little
offseason. Reds are kind of struggling a little bit
Yeah.
right now.
But you know, getting a bat in there like Cespedes could go a long way. All right, this has been Halftime Prep Talk, and we want to thank West Carter coach Kevin Brown and Comet senior Austin Travis for joining us on the show. They did a great job here, and it was great to talk to them. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at DIndependentQB, at TheRP33. You're watching us on dailyindependent.com. Halftime Prep Talk is sponsored by Fannin Automotive. We'll see you next time.